Hi, so thanks for joining. I'm excited. This is my first ever YouTube video, so please bear with. I'm going to be looking at Tesla's stock. It's quite an interesting stock at the moment. There's been a lot of volatility, particularly around Elon Musk's recent tweet on the 1st of May, feeling the price is too high. So I'm going to have a look at that, look at the price, where we see the support, holding the price up, and where we can see the price going over the next few quarters into the end of the year and then onward to 2023. So looking just at the tweet to start with, we can see that the price did plummet quite significantly, 9%, over 9%, but pulled straight back up to only a 5% loss and then closing out for the day at 7.76. Now what that shows us actually is very interesting, because when we look back at previous weeks, we can see that the price is very stable from that 865, 866 mark upward. It doesn't really drop lower than that, and when it does drop lower than that, that is when catastrophe happens. So in preparation for the 4th, we hope that when it opens it doesn't break that 683 mark. If it does, then we can really expect a bearish market. It's likely that it will break the current level of support at 690, but hopefully it should shoot straight back up. Now, as I said, I did film all this from the 3rd of May, so it's now 4th of May. And I'm glad to say that the price has bounced back up. It did test that level of support and then push straight on, which is fantastic. It's really good news. It's at a very strong position there at 740, above that 720 mark, and looking to progress onward to 760, which I anticipate it doing so over the next couple of days. If we can break 760, there may be a slight pullback, and hopefully going into the battery announcement, that is when we can see some real volatility in the price and pushing that further onward to the 800 mark. Now, many watching this may think that I'm mental, and that's fair enough. You know, £800 stock, £900 stock, £1,000 stock, where will it go? But I think the reason I'm so bullish on this stock is you've just got to look at their summary sheet for the quarter that they've just submitted, which I'm sure many who are watching this video will have already done and already appreciated. But for them to have not only retained that much amount of cash, but to have increased it, and then also increased their profit and their revenue on last year's quarter, is phenomenal. And considering coronavirus and everything else that's going on, they're in a real position of strength. They've proven that they can continue to bring in that source of income, which is what you want in those massive, fantastic companies, those really strong companies, the likes of Apple, the likes of Disney, the likes of Amazon, Netflix, anybody else. They always find ways to make money. And not only this, but they're also running on half measure. They've still got their factories that they're building, one's in development in Berlin, the US, Shanghai. There's still so much more that they can produce, and when they do, it's only going to boost their revenue, of course, and in turn will boost their profit margin. Now, what sort of target should we be looking at moving forward? Well, looking at the experts' analysis, Colin has made a point there to say that $968 target price for him. I presume that's for the end of the year. However, there are 11 experts who are suggesting that it should be sold, which is obviously disappointing. However, you can only appreciate there is a lot of volatility in a market like this, and a lot of things which are just not understood that well. And if they can't figure out where the price is going to go, well, they're not going to turn around to their clients, are they, and say, listen, you know, keep all your money with us, it's safe as houses. The positive, obviously, to take from that is the fact that there is still 16 people who are saying to hold and even buy the current price, which is fantastic news. Now, my targets for the next few quarters this year and onward, I would like to reiterate what Colin has said there. I think 986 is somewhat a good mark. I think it really is dependent upon the gigafactories. If we can get those gigafactories back up and running, and boost production, we will see a massive spike in the price. The thing is as well, and I can appreciate the current price does seem overpriced, but when you actually look at what they're doing and what they are pushing out there and achieving, they really are nothing but the reflection of the progression for the electric car market. Everything that is happening in the electric car market, you've got to believe it's coming from them, or if it's not coming directly from them, they would have taken a role in that. So you've got to really ignore value in them against the likes of Volkswagen, Ford, Fiat, Audi, BMW, because they're just a different breed to them. They're doing so many more things other than just automotive vehicles, so many more products, so many more services, They're constantly innovating, constantly pushing forward, and that's why their market cap keeps growing. And as their market cap keeps growing, so will their share price. And a prime example of that is the most recent news that Tesla has applied to become a UK electricity supplier. Now, what does that mean? I don't know, to be honest with you, but I do know it means more market cap. And if they continue to keep on branching out into different avenues, regardless of what it is, as long as it's electrical based, they're going to make money out of it. And it is as simple as that. So going back to share price, then where do I see it going? Well, as I said earlier, I see the volatility, the considerable volatility coming around the mid-May mark when they do release their speech about the batteries and the improvements that they've been made. There's loads of areas for improvements that can be made, and if they was to come out and start saying that they can make them for cheaper and more effective in terms of longer driving, then I can really see that price skyrocketing. If we can look at getting that price currently above 760 into the run up for that mid-May, then I do see that price going well beyond 800, hopefully above 900 and about 950, and then pulling back to about 850 and hopefully settling well above 800 and around 850 going into the following quarter. And that's when we might be able to then start realizing what the earnings are outside of coronavirus, now that they've reduced so much debt, and move forward with various models. Now then, for the moment of truth, where do I see the price ending up? Well, I think if we can get those gigafactories open, I think that is critical. If we can get those open, or at least half of them, some of them, whatever it is, we can get something going, some positive news about that construction, then I can really see the price ending up above that 1100 mark. If we can get the price above 900, about stable 900, going into the final quarter, when they're supposed to also complete the gigafactories, then I do see the price settling above 1,000 for sure. Now, am I mental? Perhaps. But looking at Amazon's price, I think that is the only sort of company we can really compare the likes of Tesla to. Amazon were innovative, they were engulfing industries around them, they were making them simplistic and better to use. And that's why their market cap just grew exponentially. And as their market cap grew, so did their share price. We look at their price back in 2017, they was around the sort of 800 mark, 900 mark. Going into 2020 now, they're at £2,300, and they're only selling stuff. You know, they're not actually sort of providing things for the people like the governments and anybody else, infrastructure or all this different technology. They're literally just a middleman. You know, obviously they have their own products, but you can only really imagine what sort of value Tesla will appreciate when it does kick in. And the other thing as well is that times are changing. You know, the car industry is getting squeezed into a corner where they're going to need to start complying and need to start pushing money into the electric motive industry and the infrastructure around that, the R&D, everything else that goes with it. Currently, these massive companies are looking at huge fines, and they're continuing to pay them the whole time that they're not meeting these CO2 regulations. And you know what will happen there is it's easier and it's cheaper for them to turn around to the likes of Tesla and say to them, listen, can you supply us with some batteries? We need to stop paying for these fines. And whatever it is, they'll pay for it as long as it's cheaper than the fines. Now, if that is to happen, then that would really be remarkable, because that doesn't only mean that they're now selling that extra product, but really they've also got a stake in all of these major car players' sales, thus obviously the industry. And that sounds mental, but it is realistic. That could actually happen. And if that was to happen, plus also the other products, you know, like their solar roofs, their solar panels, their batteries, the power wall, their powertrains, the tech and software, all these other things, they've got so much potential. And Tesla are the front runners for them. They're the only people really out there doing a very good job in that regard. And then going back to their business model, looking at what they're doing to improve the industry like Amazon did so many years back now. The direct sales, cutting out the middleman, taking more profit from that. The service is fantastic. You know, I don't know if anybody's got a Tesla. I haven't got a Tesla. But I do know that they have the app, and you go on the app and then you book your service and they just come into the door. They either take it away or repair it on the door, and it is as simple as that. And that's been needed for so long, but nobody's ever done that. Again, the supercharger network, all this infrastructure that they're continuing to invest in and continuing to build is only going to keep on bringing in source of revenue and income for them above and beyond just their automotive vehicles. So where do I see them ending up at the end of the year? Well, 1150, that is, as I said earlier, that's a good target. I think if we can get those gigafactories open. If not, then that 900, 950 mark, then that's a fair valuation, I would say. Moving on though, you know, the next 3 years, where do I see them ending up? I just can't help but see them at about a 2,700 mark. I know you shouldn't do trend lines and everything else, but if you can sort of envision the rate of growth that they are proceeding on, the type of market cap that they are swallowing up, the way that Amazon as well grew, it can be done, and it's been done before. So I know it may seem ridiculous and it's certainly ambitious, but I just can't help but see them doing that if they continue to swallow in the market cap that they are doing, continuing to innovate. You know, where are they going to go next? Are they going to start producing electric planes, you know, electric bikes, or whatever it may be? They're just going to continue to keep on putting out that innovation and using their expertise to bring in more revenue above and beyond just their vehicles. So I hope that's helped people. I was really trying to reach out to those who wasn't too sure about the Tesla stock price. So I hope that's aided your decision now. I think sometimes we can get so swallowed up in the likes of PE ratios and all these other indicators, but really we need to take a look at the company and what sort of potential it has and where we feel it is going to go, and just run with it sometimes. So if it has helped you, if you could like the video, that'd be great. Let us other people know and see the video, so they can be helped too. And then of course if you want to subscribe, that'd be fantastic. I'm going to do another video on NAT, which is a tanker stock. So yeah, alright, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye bye.